Hey, it's been a while. I know it looked like that might have been dead, but no, I'm alive and kicking. But you know what is dead though? The AAA game industry. Now, I have a lot of points to go over just to tell you exactly which part of the gaming industry is dying, and also explain the thumbnail as to why it's technically a good thing. So if you want to quote unquote listen to an old man just talking about how the video game industry is dying, well, you've come to the right place. So let's start from the top. What do we mean by AAA games? Anything that is made by like a big company when it comes to the video game industry, such as Sony, Xbox, even third-party publishers such as EA, Ubisoft, all those sort of things. This is what I'm referring to when I'm talking about AAA games. And it appears as though I'm wrong because Ubisoft is quadruple A, so I'm sorry I got that wrong, but I can't even take this seriously. So basically, any huge studio, this is a AAA game studio. Duh. Now, what do I mean specifically by dying? Well, as in they're not doing so hot. So let's start with the big three. We have Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. Now, the big exception that I'm going to mention is Nintendo. Nintendo is just doing their own thing. They've always been fine in terms of just, being in the gaming industry. They've always been mostly fine, except during the Wii U era, I guess. But even then, the 3DS made up for it, so it's not like it completely counts as a total failure of an era, But I'm talking about currently. Sony and Microsoft are not doing hot, and I'm just saying that as objectively as possible. I'm not trying to bring in the console wars, okay? I don't believe in that. I have a PS5 and Xbox. I have all the current gen gaming consoles, so I don't really have a bias. I'm just talking about my experience. So let's start off with the big one, which is obviously Microsoft. Microsoft has not been doing well for a very, very long time. Ever since, I would say, the start of the Xbox One, there hasn't really been a reason to own an Xbox besides Game Pass. That's really the only thing keeping them afloat. If you want a game on a very, very tight budget, there are basically everything that you would probably need. But even then, one of my main arguments that I'm gonna bring up later is it just kind of defeats the whole purpose of owning an Xbox. And then we have Sony. Ever since the launch of the PS5, Sony has shown that there is less and less of a reason as to why you should own a PS5. Because of the argument I was going to bring up for Xbox, everything is on PC. You do not need to own an Xbox or a PS5. Like, sure, maybe it's useful in order to just own a system for $500 rather than owning a PC for $2,000 or whatever. Well, with the best specs, if you really want those. But if you really want to game with like the best performance and all that sort of stuff, just don't get a PS5, just get a PC. Like, there's no point in owning a PS5. For me personally, the PS5 is my backwards compatible PS4 that just doesn't sound like a jet engine. That's really all it is. All I've been doing recently is just going through the Soul series and just playing some third-party games. That's really it. Because from what I remember, there's basically just two games that are exclusive to PS5, and that's Demon Souls and Astro Bot. I don't think Astro Bot is ever coming to PC, and Demon Souls, I mean, they probably have a contract. I don't fucking know. But yeah, that's basically all you're missing out on. Probably one of the worst Souls games, and just Astro Bot, which, I mean, Astro Bot is a pretty good game, but, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's like the game of the century, And I mean, this is not just to say that I don't use my PS5 because I use it a lot. I've always been a console gamer. I always find the whole just playing on PC thing very, very inconvenient. I never really liked gaming on PC. So in that sort of sense, it's good for me, and that's why I still use it. But if it wasn't for that, I'd be playing on my PC all day. And my Switch too. That's it. And now we have to look at the third-party studios, such as Ubisoft, EA. These are like the only ones that are coming to mind right now. But there's a ton more that are just, being fucking stupid. It's mainly the American studios and probably those in Europe that are just absolutely fucking up everything. I mean, we can go on a whole fucking tangent just talking about how Ubisoft is horrible. Just basically saying, hey, your games, those things that you like? Yeah, you should just kind of let go of those things because, it's kind of more fun to just have limited access to video games. Why would you need something like 20 years down the line? Are you fucking stupid? Yeah, that's basically what Ubisoft is trying to tell you. And that's horrible. That is not consumer friendly. Hello? And basically, the big thing about these studios is that they are limiting the creativeness of everyone who works there. Back then, when it came to projects, they would just do a project because it sounded cool, it sounded fun. Now we just have to get money because it's a huge business that requires a lot of money. So we probably gotta fire quite a few thousand employees. Because who needs employees? Who needs people to just have like food and water and electricity? Yeah, no, fuck that. Fuck those people. They're just little assets or whatever. People are replaceable and they can be paid for a minimum wage. So fuck you. Am I right? No. And then what happens when those people who have a lot of creativity create their own project without the limitations of a horrible just studio? What do you get? You get Expedition 33, probably one of the biggest hits of 2025. And well, would you look at that? It's selling like fucking hotcakes, I think. I don't know, I haven't really checked the numbers, but a lot of people are praising it. Man, if only Ubisoft had those people that created Expedition 33. Oh wait! They did, but they limited them, and so because of that, they quote-unquote rebelled and created their own passion project, which turned out to be really good. And it sold really good! Who would have seen that coming? It's like passion makes money! Who would have thought? And when I'm talking about like third-party studios, it sounds like I'm generalizing everything. I told you there were exceptions, such as what I believe I said earlier, Nintendo. They've been doing great. They're basically doing their own thing. They got their own passion projects going on, and it's doing really well. I mean, the Switch 2 is probably one of the biggest launches ever for a console because it just met every single expectation. There is some controversy, you could say, just about the price, but that's really the only problem. It's just a one-time thing, and then after that, it's gone. And then just basically every single Japanese company is doing really well, such as Capcom, Namco, but it also expands outside of that, and this is where I'm trying to get at with the good of seeing the AAA industry fail. People are so tired of AAA gaming being so bad that they're trying to find other ways to get really good experiences, and on top of that, at a really cheap price. Which is why we are in kind of an indie renaissance when it comes to video games and all that. People are trying to find good gaming experiences that are somewhat short and sweet for cheap and have the same amount of quality as AAA games did back like, I don't know, 10 to 20 years ago. I'm talking games like Repo, Lethal Company, Peak, Buckshot Roulette, Rivals of Ether 2, I would argue in some aspect. Even things older than that, such as Hollow Knight, Cuphead, Among Us. And there's a ton more that are slipping my mind right now. But my point is, because people are trying to find good experiences somewhere else, the AAA studios are gonna be like, oh damn, we're losing our customers. I guess we have to lock in and actually make good decisions for once. And you might be like, but Crouton, that sounds stupid. They're not gonna do that. Well... You guys remember Overwatch? Yeah, that game kind of died, didn't it? Well, it's kind of coming back in a way. You see, when Marvel Rivals was announced, everyone was like, oh my god, it's like Overwatch, but what if it was good now? Because ever since Overwatch 2, it's been pretty downhill from here. And I mean, I was looking for another game to just play a hero shooter. And well, I mean, we got something a lot better than Overwatch. That is indeed what we got. And before Blizzard just noticed that Marvel Rivals was like a threat to their game, they were just resting on their laurels, just not doing anything, not caring about Overwatch, because it's the only hero shooter out there that's successful. What the fuck are you gonna play? Paladins? Or fucking Fortnite? Maybe, yeah, actually you would. But my point is, there aren't too many hero shooters that give the same amount of thrills as Overwatch does. And that's how I felt in some way. I was just like, damn, there's too many hero abilities and all that just makes the game so fun. Where the fuck am I gonna find an experience like this without Overwatch? And well, Marvel Rivals became a thing. And ever since, Blizzard is like, oh damn, we're losing all our customers because Marvel Rivals is better in every single way. We gotta do something. And well, now guess what? Overwatch is actually a good game, and it kind of deserves the 2 title, I think. I'm not sure. It's been quite a while since I played Overwatch 2, but I heard that it's actually pretty decent now. So yeah, that's the reason why it's a good thing. People are gonna be like, damn, indie games are actually good, and we should probably make some good things with our IPs. Maybe put some more quality. I don't know. I remember quite a few years back, I talked about how PlayStation was just being quite silly and they need to wake up so that way they can actually save their console. And now it's 4 years later and, well, obviously they wouldn't listen because I'm just some random guy on YouTube. But they still haven't tried to do anything, really. And it's been ever since this Jim Ryan's era that we haven't gotten anything from PlayStation that's actually good or decent. They're taking so long to come up with new games that it's kind of hard for me to just really care if you're not going to bring in a game every 3 months at least. I'm not really going to care all that much about your company. And I mean, game development has been through the roof when it comes to costs and all that. I get it. And it takes a really long time to create games. I get that as well. But you can also make like super small experiences just to satiate that appetite that people have. And make it exclusive to your console, please, for the love of God. And look, I'm not saying that to just say that PlayStation is bad and you should move over to PC. I'm just telling you that there's basically no reason to own a PS5. There just isn't. And the same can be said for Xbox. And please, do not be stupid and say that Nintendo is the same thing. The console just released. But still, it's been over 2 months, and we still have more exclusives on Switch 2 than on the PS5 over 5 years. And the same can be said about Xbox. You combine all the Xbox and PlayStation exclusives, and we have more exclusives on Nintendo in the span of 2 months. Can you believe that? Like, I'm just talking objectively. That's crazy. The main point of this video isn't to shit on all these companies. It's just to express my worries and just make them wake up. Like, I know I'm not going to reach to them and all that. Moist Critical might, but please make good games. Let your creators be creative and don't limit them. That's like the main point of this video. Like, just wake up. What happened between now and 15 years ago that just makes you so filled to the brim with like wanting to get money and sacrifice quality on top of that? Like, you can make some crazy good passion projects and make a ton of money off of it. It's really not that hard. And I'd go as far as to say that you can probably do it for free. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay your workers, but like, I'm referring to indie devs that just get driven by their passion to create and want to impress people all over the world with just an idea, just a concept, just some fun gameplay. And so that's my takeaway. Just please don't be stupid. Be good again. I just want the gaming industry to be back on its feet because it's taken a pretty huge nosedive, and with all that momentum that they've accumulated from just going down, all you have to do is just take the stick from the plane and just pull it back. And then after that, all that momentum is just going to bring you all the way back up. And the only way to do that is by making good games. That's the only thing that is keeping you away from not only a good amount of money, but also restore faith in the gamers. Me. Basically, that too. Like, guys, I just want to see my Rayman back. I just want to see my Banjo-Kazooie back. I also wanted to see that new Perfect Dark or whatever it's called. But hey, guess what? They canceled it. I don't know why, but we canceled Perfect Dark, even though we just announced it not even 3 months ago. Like, this industry fucking sucks, man. Oh my god. But yeah, with that, I hope that you had a good time listening. Make sure to subscribe if you want me to rant some more about video games. I have had this thought for a video like this for over a year now, and I am still waiting for the big studios to make good decisions, so that way I can eat good, as well as the developers making amazing games. But no, the publishers just have to be fucking stupid. So yeah, subscribe, and I'll see you guys another time, alright? Goodbye.